It is a Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day thus far. I'm loving the weather. I mean, it's a lot like yesterday, right? I mean, temperatures are on the mild side, cool side, lots of fog and low cloud pushed well inland last night. And right now, this is about 11 o'clock in the morning. We've got some marine layers still in the East Bay Hills, just hanging up there above the Berkeley Livermore Lab near Grizzly Peak. Fog coming in up north or south of Cape Mendocino, and then Salinas Valley fog. And then a little Nicasio Valley fog trying to get in. But it's burning back very quickly. And you go, well, why is it burning back so quickly if it went so far inland? It got so deep last night, the marine layer, that it just kind of, this morning, as soon as the sun came out, it cleared off pretty quickly. Ocean Beach is clear right now. So the story this week is going to be more of the same, which is very different story than what we had last week. Last week was heat, historic heat, record heat. Heat advisories, heat warnings, air quality alerts, and red flag warnings. It was all about that the last couple of weeks. This week's a different deal. Although those things could come into play, but there's no dominant weather pattern or feature that's going to could make that happen based on what we're looking at now. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there it is. There's the satellite image. We can see when you have a marine layer that gets that deep, you've got temperatures. Well, if we go to, let's see, we'll go here, we'll go to Sacramento, 77 degrees this morning in Sacramento. It's 82 degrees just north of Chico up in Red Bluff. So 82 is pretty warm for 11 o'clock in the morning, except last week and the week before, they were doing mid-90s at this hour. You can also see, I got a little cold, so bear with me here, but see that little flag? So this is that surface map that I like. I like it because it's updated hourly. It's a National Weather Service product. It's super duper consistent. You can go anywhere in the world with this thing. I'm just zoomed in on us. But you can see the Vacaville wind. See that wind, that stick? It's blowing. The little flag at the end of the stick is blowing towards the tip of my arrow, or blowing towards that dot. And that is 5 knots, 5 miles an hour. And that's a south wind. So just forget the miles per hour. Just look at the winds, south. That's kind of an unusual direction, right? Normally, south winds. There's some winds. There's some anomalous winds like this out by the gate, which would make sense. There's funneling. But most of the winds overall are blowing out of the south. That is not typical. This time of year, you expect, like what you're seeing off here, off Pacifica, and what you're seeing off of Half Moon Bay, and what you're seeing off of Big Sur, that northwest wind. Well, we're not seeing that, and that's because there is an area of shear or weak shear, counterclockwise flow off the coast of California. It's not rain. It's nothing more than enough to destabilize the atmosphere. The high has had it stabilized for a couple weeks right over the top of us. Now we've got a high that's backed away. The low is closer to us, and the atmosphere is destabilized. That's the indication, is the symptom of destabilization of these south winds. So in a wintertime, we got rain on the way, or some disturbance, or wind, or something. So we go further evidence. This is the profiler, linked to my page as well. You can see it. You can see at the bottom. This basically runs from yesterday, and then it works its way to the current time. And if you look right here, it's just about 2,600 feet, the marine inversion. That's pretty deep. And that's why when we run out to Ocean Beach, you see essentially partly clearing conditions. This will load up in a minute, but that's Ocean Beach right now. Partly sunny, clearing quickly, a beautiful day at the beach with south winds and temperatures already in the 60s. And there's even a little bit of surf. It's not much, but in this time of year, you don't see that. Usually the winds are onshore, nobody's in the water, but this is one of those days at Ocean Beach. So, and if you look, that's Point Reyes out there. So you got pretty good visibility because the fog just lifted straight up. So what's the value of the profiler and the surface obs and the visible satellite? Just this. Like you go, oh, that's an interesting day. That's what I showed you in the beginning of this. Not a typical July day in the Bay Area. So you kind of do a little Skylock Fox. Remember that guy from the Chronicle? Was it Skylock Fox? Yeah. I think it was in the Chronicle. And he was like, he's always looking for clues and stuff. And that's what you're doing here. You're McGruff. You're just kind of like, that's interesting. And then you can work your way down to the answer, which is really what weather is. What's happening here is, let's see if I can show this. My picture's sort of in the way. I'm not savvy enough to move it, but I can show you. See this bullseye? I bet you can see it. I'm going to push it in here. Let's see. right? This bullseye right here, that's sort of the high pressure. Okay, we're kind of over here, kind of under my arm, and this high pressure, I think I said high pressure, I hope I did. That's the high pressure. Watch how where it's located as compared to where it was last week and the week before. See how it's staying offshore? It's staying away from us. And so that high is backed away, and with it backed away and backs further away, it allows systems or instability or a relative instability to get close to us, like we're seeing today and yesterday, and like we'll see tomorrow. With the high backed out, it's not as dominant, and the low pressure sort of muddles things up, and you get a pattern that is like what we have, which is below average temperatures, continued super pleasant fire danger management. I mean, CAL FIRE's all over this. So when I look at the fire stuff, first thing I think is, okay, well, that's good. Now you go, ooh, look at all the fires, right? There are a lot of fires. But I would think, and I do think in California especially, they are handling these fires really well. Some of these fires are turning into sort of controlled burns because the CAL FIRE is so savvy now. They get it. Like they're going, well, if this thing's burning, it's in the middle of nowhere and it hasn't burned in 50 years, and there's no northeast winds or north winds or howling, right? Those are your fire wind directions in the forecast, which would be atypical for this time of year. They're going, let's let some of this stuff burn. Let's let it burn to this ridge line. Let's shut it down, but let's get some fire maintenance. I'm speaking just in experience and knowing how the men and the women over there think, and they're smart. It's good forest management. And so you see a lot of fires here, but I guess my smile is that, yeah, it's a drag, but you'll notice you're not seeing them in the news every night, especially the NorCal fires, because there are structures in danger, obviously, and you're concerned for that, certainly. But the idea that some of these fires, or many of these fires, are in control right now, and even though it says 20% containment, 30% containment, CAL FIRE is crushing these things, and they're flying around the clock service on these fires. If you're by one of these fires, you can see, especially like if you're up by the Shelley Fire, you're seeing what they're doing. They're hammering this thing. So they know what they're doing. They have, they work with fire weather meteorologists. And those guys are, and men and women, are awesome. It's just a whole different world for fire. So here is the 5-day forecast. The temperatures, it warms up a little bit inland as we go through the week, but it's britchy. That highs just weakened, the lows over us. There's some instability. Use the profiler, use the surf line map for looking at the beach, and then the surface obs map, which is awesome as well. Okay, we'll see you back here.